thank you very much for your time. Thank you for talking to us ahead of a really big match on the weekend, the Manchester Derby. So let's start there.
Yeah.
First, take us back to your last home match for Sporting, that 4-1 against Manchester City. A lot of emotions, obviously, but what do you take from that match that you feel maybe can help you on the weekend?
Yeah, it was a very specific match with a lot of things. I think the game changed a little bit for the second half. What you can take is you can look at the team of City near. So you can understand the movements, the way they talk with each other, and that help us to understand better the game. Manchester City game was a game when the first half they were really good. They push us back, but we managed in one transition to score the draw, and then the second half with the 2 plays in 2 minutes, it changed the game, and we defend a lot, and then we went to score again. So it was really a different match. I think we cannot use so much from that game, but it helps you to understand the game when you are seeing and feeling the game really close.
And that one was their third loss. And of course, they're still going through a rough path. How do you expect this run of results to play out on the weekend? Because you faced Manchester City in a rough path, but it got a little bit tougher for them since then.
But they are a very, very strong team with a lot of years working together. So they won a lot. They lost a lot also in Champions League, but they are so good on what they do. They can change this momentum anytime. I think we have a bigger problem because we still are working in simple things, but we want to win like Manchester City. So it's a game that both teams are not living the greatest moments of the season, but it is always a derby, and we want to win it.
And your first Manchester derby, of course, you have a lot of experience with the Lisbon derby, but the Lisbon was very specific because you had history on both sides, and you were always very open about it. Of course, you played for Benfica in your club and with Sporting and all the success. How different is it to be in a derby that you have only history with Manchester United, you don't have anything with the other side?
It's different because in Lisbon is a strange case because I grew up as a Benfica fan and then I went to Sporting. You never imagine that when you are a kid. It's like to have 2 loves now, and it was a strange situation here. I'm just looking at Manchester United and we have so much to do. We are thinking not just in the game but in everything else, the way we play. I'm excited to see the behavior of our players in this situation, this kind of game, to learn a lot about our players. So it's completely different, but like you said, it's the same thing when you look at the passion, the way the people in the city lives the derby. So it's in that area is the same.
And he's not here yet, but Hugo Viana will be a rival. And it's very curious because you have a really good relationship with him, right? I imagine you guys are preparing yourselves to be rivals next season.
Yeah, it's on the field because it's impossible to be a rival outside the pitch with Hugo Viana because he was so important in my life. I think he one of responsible for me to be here in Manchester United, the way he helped me, support me in really hard moments in Sporting. So I think it will be fun, but he knows that I want to win. He will not talk to me during the game, after the game and before the game, but then in the next day we will be friends as always.
Even now, even this weekend, it's already on.
Yeah. We already faced with Sporting. We already faced Manchester City with Hugo Viana already, almost working for City. But here is different. We understand that, and we can respect that for a few days.
You mentioned the work and the progress and the things you want to see from the team. So, in terms of progress, is it happening the way you imagined it would be?
More or less, you always have surprises to understand. You have an idea of a player, and then you have one or two surprises. In the good way, in the bad way, it can change from player. But I already know that is a big job. It will take time. I know that everybody is saying that, but more than me, forget me as a coach. That the club needs time. And that is something important that everybody has to understand. And we have to focus on every detail. So it's not just the result, we want to win it, but in everything else we have to improve a lot in the fast pace.
And you've spoken a lot about the rotation as well, how to manage players' fitness, to observe players as well. Do you feel like it's that type of thing where you're just missing out on something, maybe the results not coming as much as you wanted to, but on the long run, you will see the results from that, from like picking the right starting 11. It's that transition phase in a way.
That is the balance that we have to do, because you have to understand this is a results game, and we have to manage that also. But for me, the way is really clear in my head. It's not just focused now on the results. We want to win it, but we have to start right away. For the rest of the season, when we had more time to train in the next season, we already understand what we want to do with the team. So we are in the point that is very, very stressful, because everybody wants to play, but we have to take a risk during games, and we are doing that. That is clear.
And you mentioned recently that you're close to finding that starting 11. How challenging has it been, this process, throughout such a busy period? Because December is not going to get much easier, right?
Yeah, it's really hard. Today we had like 40 minutes of training with all the squad. In 20 days we had 3 trainings together. Three trainings together is nothing. And then we will have more 20 days. One part of the team is recovering, the other is training. So it's a moment that you have to train without training, just with a lot of information. But if you don't have the time to train, you cannot put the inside of their head in the body. When I say in the body, something that is so natural, the way we react, the way we run back, everything needs training. But we are improving. I can see it. It's not the most popular thing to say, but I think against Nottingham we were so much better than Everton, and you cannot look to the results. It doesn't make sense. But the feeling.
In which way?
Like the way we play, the way that we don't concede so many chances. Of course, the set pieces was a problem also against Nottingham, but we have the control of the game against Nottingham. We were better when creating chances. We didn't allow Nottingham create so many chances in the first half as, for example, Everton. But sometimes the results tells a different story, and we have to be very clear on which way we want to look: just the performance or just the results. So we are trying to manage everything.
And the players, they always say how great of a communicator you are in terms of letting them know your ideas. This, I imagine, is very handy in a period where you don't have much time to train. How much have you been relying on that, on these communication skills with them?
I try to be very, very simple. I think that is the way that we should work now. Very simple, very direct, not overthinking, not overcomplicated. If we do that, we are going to lose a lot of things. So very simple things. Sometimes you want to do more. Sometimes you see things in the game that you want to work, but you know that you will have a totally different game, so you will not address what you should address. You are thinking in the next game, so it's a really hard balance. But we are learning also. All the staff, all the players, we are learning to cope with this moment. In the future it will be easier.
How different has it been, this process of getting to know the players compared to Portugal? Because here you have players from all over the world. I imagine different backgrounds compared to what you have in Portugal. So how different has it been?
Yeah, this is something that you can understand. Everything in the cultures change. So if you are in Portugal, you know that you are in the league that you outside the strongest 5 leagues, and that all that players want to play in the strongest leagues. They are something that they have inside of them that is different from here. Here they are in the one of the biggest clubs in the world, so the management is completely different, and you also have to adapt without losing your way of managing players. So we are also learning that and trying to focus our players in different goals to try to take that hunger to inside of the players, but is a different way of management.
And one area of the pitch, the attack, you rotated a lot there. What have you seen that needs special improvement in terms of your front three, their interactions with the wingers, the way they are moving to be able to create more chances? Because you scored a lot of goals, but you could have created even more chances.
For sure. I think we have in these games we had a little bit problem with when we are in the final third, like a big team dominating the games. We were in the past a little bit, for what I saw. We are more dangerous in transition. Even now, we had 73% of possession, but the big chances was from transition. So that is a team that passes a lot of time doing transitions and not established in the final third. And they had a lot of difficulties. We had a lot of difficulties, and we try to help them. But we need to put them in that situation, like 1 hour today to another hour tomorrow, for them to understand it, to know the players. What we are doing when we change the players is to try to have always fresh players. But more than that is that we look also to the opponent and what can bring more danger to them, and we're changing all the time. That is the idea. We are in the beginning. This is like it should be like a pre-season for me to know my players, but we are doing in competition, so we try to win games. That's all.
And finally, recently we had the news on Sunday, so I wanted to ask you, what is the impact for the manager when the sporting director leaves the club? Because of course it took a lot of people by surprise.
First of all, I'm really grateful for all the support that the whole board is showing me since first day. So Dan is included with that, and I'm very grateful for that. For me, the most important, this is a transitional phase, and you can understand in our club a lot of changes during the season. But the important thing is that we have one path, and that doesn't change. Sometimes when people in football is normal, you have to leave, but the important thing is the idea. Maintain the idea. I think that we will maintain with different people, but Omar, Jason, and Dan were always very supportive. Now we have Omar and Jason, and I wish everything good for Dan, because he support me a lot.
Yeah, because a lot of fans got really confused with the news. So it doesn't affect the plan, the talks you had, and the talks you have with them in terms of ideas and the concept of the club and the plan you guys have.
No, because this is an idea of one club. It's not an idea of one people.